あ、やばい、何言うか忘れちゃった。こんにちは、サラです。So today we're going to talk about しまう。しまう can mean different things depending on the context, but it's used a lot in Japanese, so you should definitely learn how to use it. Now it can be a bit difficult because it can mean a lot of different things, but if you watch this video, you'll be able to use it perfectly. Roughly speaking, しまう can be used in two different ways. It can either be a verb in itself, or it can be an auxiliary verb, which helps or changes another verb. In Japanese, auxiliary verbs are attached to the end of other verbs, so しまう will usually be found as the ending of another verb. First, when しまう is used as its own verb, it means to put away. So you say an object, をしまう. For example, to put your clothes away. 服をしまう. To put the dishes away. 食器をしまう. When used as its own verb, しまう is pretty easy. But when used as an auxiliary verb, it gets a bit more difficult. You could roughly say that しまう has two different meanings when used as an auxiliary verb. And which meaning it becomes depends on what type of verb you use it with. The first meaning is completion. And this is when you use しまう with a volitional verb. A volitional verb is a verb that you control yourself. For example, 読む、食べる、する、行く, or 作る. All of these verbs describe an action that you can control yourself. So when used when this type of verb, しまう means that you will complete or finish something in the near future. For example, I will finish reading this book by tomorrow. この本は明日までに読んでしまう. I will finish eating this in no time. これを食べてしまう. I will finish my homework. 宿題をしてしまおう. The other meaning of しまう when used as an auxiliary verb is that something is regretful or unfortunate. This is when しまう is used with a non-volitional verb, which is a verb that you cannot control by yourself, such as 忘れる, 遅れる, or 迷う. When used with this type of verb, しまう expresses regret or that something is unfortunate. For example, I'll forget about that in no time. すぐ忘れてしまう. If I don't leave now, I'll be late. 今行かなきゃ遅れてしまう. When translated into English, it may seem that しまう doesn't do too much for these verbs, but in Japanese, it changes the nuance of the verb to sound more regretful or unfortunate. しまう is actually a formal expression, but there is a way to make this a bit more informal or conversational. Instead of saying しまう, you say ちゃう or じゃう. For example, if you want to say the words that we went through today in a more informal way, for the volitional verbs, you would say 読んじゃう, 食べちゃう, 行っちゃう, しちゃう, 作っちゃう. And for the non-volitional verbs, you would say 忘れちゃう, 遅れちゃう, 迷っちゃう. So this is just a more informal way to say the same thing. しまう and しちゃう and じゃう mean exactly the same thing, but if you want to say it a bit more informally, you can use these two instead. Today we talked about しまう, which has different meanings depending on how you use it. You can use it either as a verb by itself or as an auxiliary verb. And when used as an auxiliary verb, the meaning changes a bit depending on if it's used with a volitional verb or a non-volitional verb. So with a volitional verb, it means completion, while with a non-volitional verb, it means that something is regretful or unfortunate. I hope you learned something new in this video. This topic was a little bit difficult, so if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below. これからも役に立つ動画を作っていきたいと思うので、もしよかったら登録お願いします。バイバイ。